I'm Gay Rogers. I'm the CEO and president of Hospice of Western Kentucky. Hospice is designed for people going through their final journey. We don't necessarily know how long. The government says 6 months or less if the disease follows its natural course. However, we know in hospice people actually get better. They don't get cured, but they live longer. And why is that? Well, first of all, because of our volunteers keep them company. Our staff keeps them company. They have a will to live sometimes because maybe they've been lonesome. And we know loneliness creates depression. You know, one of the most valuable roles our volunteers can do is when we have someone who is going through their last maybe 24 hours of life, for that volunteer to be able to sit at the bedside and just be present. They don't have to do anything. Sometimes it's holding hands, sometimes it's humming, sometimes it's singing a song, sometimes it's just silence with the patient at the bedside. And also support their family. You know, our staff is great at letting families know what to expect, but sometimes they're still a little scared. And our volunteer presence in the home, we call that our vigil program, or I like to call it the No One Dies Alone program. And so we're looking to enhance that program in Hospice of Western Kentucky.
I am the volunteer coordinator for hospice and have been for a little bit over 4 years. I recruit the volunteers, I train the volunteers, and I place the volunteers where they feel most comfortable and what they want to do and where they want to put their talents. Not everybody can work Hartford House, not everybody can sit in home with a patient. I have volunteers that do specific things just like the veteran. They just come in, do a little ceremony. After the ceremony, then they leave. I have patients that sit for up to 4 hours with a patient in the home. I have musicians who come and play music. The patients love it, the families love it. I have quilters who make quilts for our patients. I have people who make prayer shawls for our patients. I have volunteers that do flowers. I have volunteers that make supply calls and tucking calls to our patients. I have volunteers that do almost everything. If you aren't comfortable in that position, I've got other things I can get you to do. We can always use people to help with mailings. We can always use people to do supply calls. We can always use people to help deliver flowers to the patients. Maybe you want to become a quilter. I have people who make quilts for us. They can call me at Hospice. We can get them signed up for training. Depending on what your talent is and what you're wanting to do. If you're going to sit, for example, interested in sitting in home with a patient, the training's about 6 hours long. It's an all-day training. I do feed you lunch, okay? If you have a specific talent you want to use, such as a musician, that's only 2.5 hours long. Same thing with a veteran. 2.5 hours long. Oh, definitely. Our spring fling. Right now we have health fairs. I could use volunteers who are willing to help us at the health fairs. We have people who are answering telephones at the office. There's always a need for a volunteer to do something.
It's a wonderful experience. When I leave here, I'm the one that's rewarded. It gives me something to look forward to every day, and I love working with the families, the patients. If I can just put a smile on one person's face during the day, that's what it's all about. Special events, I do laundry, I help with catering, I help make flower arrangements, mop the floor, whatever they want me to do, I do. It's no problem. And I enjoy talking to the patients, holding their hands and talking to them. It is a blessing, it really is. A lot of people ask me, how can you do it? Well, it's so rewarding. But I would encourage anyone to get involved with hospice. They're just like family. I would tell them to join our team. They won't regret it.
But what I do is they term it as a Veterans Appreciation. So when they discover they have a veteran here, regardless of what branch of service, they call me to present a really nice certificate that the hospice has come out with. So of course, each case is different. You know, some folks are not really aware, but the family members really appreciate it, in my opinion, and also the veterans really appreciate it.
So, you know, I've been asked the question before, do you ever see any miracles? And I tell people I see miracles every single day. Our volunteers see miracles every single day. And oftentimes they're asking, have you ever seen somebody totally cured? No. But I've seen families come together that maybe had been torn apart before. I've seen people be able to hold somebody's hand and just really emotionally hold on to them and carry them through that entire journey. I have seen it change volunteers who maybe most of their family's gone, but they find another family for a little while to help take care, because it's within their heart that they're caregivers. I have seen that. I have seen children who maybe not spoke to each other in 40 years, all of a sudden hug and come together for that parent. So we see miracles every single day. Very important. So that's what I have to say.
Well, I think it just really sticks in my mind. Had one gentleman, he had quite a number of members of his family here, and he wasn't really aware, I don't want to say comatose or all that nature, but I don't believe he was aware of his surroundings. But I presented him with, well, actually the family certificate. And I also like to, almost like an award ceremony, have the American flag painted on their clothing, then render hand salute, which I did. I pinned the flag on him, rendered the hand salute, and amazingly the gentleman saluted back. And the family was surprised, I was surprised, you know, which is, that's probably the story that sticks with me the most.
We had a patient here in his maybe late 30s, and his daughter happened to play the violin. We've already talked about our music enrichment program and our volunteer music program, where volunteers come to the Hartford House. We'd also love for them to come to the home. However, so he was here as a patient, and his daughter, like I said, played the violin. And she heard our dulcimer players playing in the hallway one day, and she wanted to join them. So she went home to get her violin. And they were able to play. She was able to play outside her father's door with the dulcimer players. And that meant the world to him, and meant the world a lot to us too.
I had a friend that we were neighbors. We started the first grade together. We went all through high school together. And I can mention her name because she signed a release form. Linda Newberry, you knew the Newberries, Randy. And first she had breast cancer, and then she got pancreatic cancer. Well, I talked to her and I wanted her to be involved with hospice, and she knew right away that was a journey she wanted to take. So we would go to Florida every now and then, and we would get involved with hospice down there. She had hospice there. But anyway, we painted. I got her to start painting, and it was so relaxing. We would just sit and paint all day and not say a word to each other. But our last trip to Florida, I brought her home 2 days before she passed, and we brought her to the Hartford House, and she passed here. And my daughter did music therapy, you know my daughter, with her, and that's how we got the music therapy program started here, was because of Linda.